Guys, my name is Nairi, and today we're going to talk about if you can't get on with your social worker and you're going through the adoption process and you don't feel like the social worker is actually kind of connecting with you. My channel is all about adoption family life, processes for adoption, children's behaviours and trauma. If you think that any of that could be useful to you, then please take the time to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know when I'm bringing out other videos. So what would you do, guys, if you're going through a process for adoption and you're not quite hitting it off with a social worker, and you actually feel that, you know, your voice is not being heard, and you just don't feel you're connecting, and actually the process isn't going very well for you? Now, we have adopted our boys from foster care, so we had an adoption social worker allocated to us after we'd already had many years with the boys, so it's different for us. But I do know that some people do struggle with their social worker when it comes to going through the approval process. And as ex-foster carers, obviously we had some social workers that we gelled and bonded with really well, and others that we really struggled with. And so what I'd say to you guys, this is just a short video, is that people are human, social workers are human, and we all have different temperaments, different outlooks, and in a way being approved for adoption is still a subjective process, because it's happening through an individual human looking at your life, which all of this is subjective, isn't it? And it might be that you are absolutely adamant and desperate that you are going to be a good adopter, but you are finding that your social worker doesn't think so, and there's a sticking point. You know, it might be about your finances, or it might be about something that you just think it's not enough to stop the process. It's not enough for stopping you from being an adopter and actually finally getting your child or your children. If you think that the social worker potentially is barking up the wrong tree, is not hearing you, it's gone a little bit too far down one road, and you just think it's not relevant enough, and you have a really good argument for that, then you would need to, if you were brave enough, face the social worker with it. If you felt that that wasn't going to be appropriate, then you need to ring and speak to their team manager and say, this is the reason why we potentially might not be going ahead with the process. This is what the social worker said, and this is our argument why we do not think this is right. And you can make the phone call, but I would definitely put everything in an email. You might find it a little bit embarrassing. If you're anything like me, you hate confrontation and you won't want to do it. But if it's a difference between you having a child and not having a child, then you need to challenge it. If then a second social worker comes along, or the adoption team manager looks at your case and says, well, I'm really sorry, but based on what the social worker has said, you know, you're not meeting our criteria, then you would potentially have to accept it, or you'd have to go to another agency. And if you continue to get rejections, then you know that what they're saying is how it is. But sometimes it can just be about personality. So guys, if you're really desperate to adopt and you just think you're being shortchanged because of the personality of a social worker, then please pick up the phone, make that email and do something about it, because at the end of the day, they're only human. And sometimes as well, something that causes a sticking point with them might well not cause a sticking point for another social worker if it's not a black and white criteria, you know, such as, you know, something's on your DBS and it's really awful, or, you know, if it's not a real sticking point, then there's no reason why you can't get a second opinion on it. Hope that helps you guys, because if you're anything like me and you're absolutely driven for adoption, then it might well be bringing you down massively. So see you on my channel. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye now.